Chang-ho wakes up in a white room. No windows, no explanation, just a needle coming toward his arm and a voice asking where he hid the money. He has no idea what they're talking about, but the men around him don't believe him. To them, he isn't confused. He's hiding something worth 290 billion won. 3 days earlier, Park Chang-ho couldn't even win a simple court case. He had a 10% win rate, a mountain of debt, and a nickname to match, Big Mouth. All talk, no results. He was living in his father-in-law's house and had just lost another case after the judge he bribed got swapped out at the last minute. His wife Miho gave him an ultimatum: lose again, don't bother coming home. He lost. He didn't go home. Then his phone rang. The mayor of Guchin wanted him on a high-profile murder case. A professor named Seo had been found dead in the trunk of a car. 3 suspects, a doctor, a lawyer, and a businessman, were already arrested. Their real legal team had everything mapped out. They just needed a useless, controllable lawyer to stand in front of the judge and lose on cue. Chang-ho was perfect for the role. He took the case, but something shifted the moment he watched the dashcam footage. Professor Seo, surrounded by 3 powerful men, screaming that the truth would come out. Chang-ho started asking questions nobody wanted him to ask. That was his first mistake. He planted a bug, tracked down the dashcam memory card through the dead man's wife, got a name, Gong Ji-hoon, the head of a major media conglomerate, the real power behind everything. Chang-ho tried to use the footage as leverage. Ji-hoon laughed in his face and warned him that he might not be the one who got hurt. So Chang-ho handed the evidence to the prosecutor instead, treated his family to a nice dinner to celebrate. A waitress brought him a complimentary coffee. He woke up in a hospital with drugs in his bloodstream and no memory card. When the police searched his office, they found the card's replacement, a massive stash of cash, gold bars, and narcotics. His blood test came back positive. The charges came fast. His wife told him to stay sharp. He tried to contact the mayor for help. The mayor, furious that Chang-ho had gone behind his back, refused. Chang-ho was sent to Guchon prison. Inside, the 3 suspects he was supposed to defend wanted him dead. The warden wanted to know if he was actually Big Mouse, and the entire prison had already decided he was, because overnight, every outlet in the country was reporting that the failed lawyer, Park Chang-ho, was in fact the most notorious con artist in Korea, a ghost who had stolen 290 billion won from the country's most powerful men and vanished without a trace. Big Mouth, Big Mouse. In Korean, they sound almost the same. No one believed he was innocent. Not even the lie detector helped. But staying innocent wasn't going to keep him alive, so Chang-ho made a decision. If everyone already thought he was Big Mouse, he might as well act like it. He started with the prison itself, demanded better food, better conditions, organized the prisoners, picked fights with people twice his size, and somehow won. The story spread fast. Even the prison gang started to wonder. The 3 VIPs panicked. Ji-hoon gave the order to keep him alive. Big Mouse had stolen their money, and the only way to get it back was through Chang-ho. The warden had a different agenda entirely. While Chang-ho learned to survive inside, Miho went to war on the outside. She got herself hired as a nurse at Guchin Hospital, the same hospital connected to the murder, the same hospital where cancer patients were quietly signing forms agreeing not to be resuscitated and being cremated without autopsy. She found a blood test report, a tampered one. She started pulling threads. Then she publicly claimed to have read Professor Seo's missing paper. Within hours, someone was following her home. Whatever was in that paper, it wasn't just about a murder. People were dying for it, and the hospital was at the center of it. Miho kept digging. Chang-ho kept surviving. And somewhere in the prison, the real Big Mouse was watching both of them and deciding when to make his move. If you've ever watched someone fight for the truth and realize the whole system is designed to bury them, subscribe. The tarot cards started appearing in Chang-ho's cell. Someone was feeding him information he shouldn't have. The real names of Big Mouse's drug clients, warnings before attacks, exact moves 2 steps ahead of Ji-hoon. Chang-ho set up a trap in the prison chapel to find out who it was. Hidden camera, a marked card. He waited. The footage showed his own cellmate, Jerry. But when Chang-ho confronted him, Jerry swore he hadn't taken it. And looking into his face, Chang-ho wasn't sure he was lying. Someone had edited the surveillance footage. The real Big Mouse was still invisible. Ji-hoon grew impatient. He had Jerry slip poison into Chang-ho's drink. Chang-ho nearly died. While he was unconscious, a guard pressed his fingerprint onto a document Ji-hoon had been waiting for. When Chang-ho recovered and was being transferred back to prison, the car went the wrong direction. He tried to fight back. A needle went into his arm. He woke up in a white room. The room was a private psychiatric facility. Ji-hoon's operation: no food, no sleep, constant noise, chemical injections timed to break down resistance until the truth serum could work. Within days, Chang-ho was hallucinating. Rats crawling up the walls, Miho's voice from somewhere he couldn't reach. Ji-hoon leaned in close and asked again, "Where's the money?" Chang-ho, barely conscious, said he didn't know. Said he wasn't Big Mouse. The prosecutor in the room warned that the next injection could cause cardiac arrest. Ji-hoon didn't care. Chang-ho bought himself minutes by mentioning a mountain he'd visited with Miho once. Ji-hoon sent his men immediately. They found a wooden box, 1 gold bar, nothing else. When Ji-hoon came back furious, Chang-ho understood something. Big Mouse had been listening to the whole conversation. He stopped being afraid. He waited. A fire broke out. The firefighter who pulled him out was Jerry, the same man who had poisoned him. Jerry handed him car keys and ran the other way to draw the guards off. Chang-ho drove. Big Mouse sent him a hotel address. At a police checkpoint, an officer checked his photo and waved him through. Chang-ho understood then that he'd been inside something much larger than a prison, and that whoever Big Mouse really was, they'd just saved his life. On the outside, Miho and Hye-jin, the woman connected to Professor Seo's paper, went public. They leaked evidence to a channel with 800,000 subscribers. They protested outside the courthouse. They handed over their phones to signal cooperation. Chang-ho saw the broadcast and understood exactly what his wife was doing. He reached out through a billboard, the same words he'd used when he proposed to her. She called the number. He was standing in the building across the street. Together, they ran the final operation. Chang-ho live-streamed as Big Mouse, predicting every move the corrupt prosecutor would make in court in real time. As it happened, the 3 suspects were acquitted. The moment they walked out of the courthouse, a truck blocked their path, and the stream kept rolling, playing footage of Ji-hoon admitting to the murder's motive on hidden camera. Ji-hoon crushed the camera under his foot in the street while the country watched. Chang-ho was arrested again, but the story was already out. Back inside, the real Big Mouse finally revealed himself. The prison's room leader, a man whose daughter had been killed while investigating the most powerful industrialist in the city. He had built his entire organization around one goal. He had chosen Chang-ho because Chang-ho was supposed to die, and someone inside the network had intervened to save him. They made a deal. Big Mouse would use Chang-ho's face. Chang-ho would use Big Mouse's power, and together they would go after Choi. But the alliance barely had time to begin. Big Mouse died in an explosion shortly after. On a video left behind, he named Chang-ho as his successor. Chang-ho took the role, not to run a criminal organization, but to use it to dismantle what was left. Mayor Choi, it turned out, had never been what he appeared. He was the grandson of a man destroyed decades ago by Chairman Kong, the industrial billionaire behind the hospital, the prisoners, the deaths. Choi had spent his entire life building a false identity, marrying into Kong's circle, waiting. But somewhere along the way, the revenge consumed everything else. He stopped fighting the system. He became it. Kong died, poisoned by his own secretary on Choi's orders. Choi won the election anyway. Miho had been exposed to toxic wastewater in the tunnels during her investigation, a radioactive compound called NF9, illegally discharged by Kong's company for 30 years. Anyone who came into contact with it developed fatal leukemia within weeks. She knew before anyone told her. She hid it from Chang-ho and kept working. When she finally collapsed, she broadcast the truth live on national television, standing in front of a camera with a microphone, telling the country she was dying from water that a company had been dumping into the sea while the government looked away. Chang-ho watched from across the room. He didn't try to stop her. Choi escaped every charge. Witnesses disappeared. His wife, ready to testify, was locked in a psychiatric facility before the trial. The court declared him innocent. Miho collapsed from the verdict. Her body gave out not long after. Chang-ho stayed beside her until the end, unable to save the only person who had never stopped saving him. When it was over, he bought the gym where Choi trained every morning. Choi found him standing at the edge of the pool. He laughed, called him a loser who couldn't protect his own wife. Then blood came from his mouth. Chang-ho told him quietly the pool had been filled with the same water that killed Miho. And Park Chang-ho, the man everyone mocked as Big Mouth, became Big Mouse for real. Not because he wanted power, because when the system protected monsters, someone had to make them afraid.